Formula 1 returned to Albert Park for the start of the 2025 season, and it's the first time Australia is hosting the opening round since all the way back in 2019. Red Bull appeared to have made the best package to suit the new regulations, but surprisingly it was the new boy Charles Leclerc who went fastest in Friday practice, ahead of two-time world champion Max Verstappen and current title holder Malachi Wilson third for Ferrari. Further down the grid, the Alpine cars were the talk of the paddock on Friday, with Alexander Albon on his return to F1 ending FP2 and P4 and Esteban Ocon in P6, while Oscar Piastri was well within the top 10 in his first F1 race weekend for McLaren. He'll be hoping to hit the ground running on his debut on Sunday afternoon. However, with rain expected to hit the circuit on Saturday, the order could change and we could be in for a very exciting first round of the 2025 Formula 1 World Championship. What is going on, buddy? Zach RC here, welcome back to the channel and welcome along to the first episode of Season 4 of F1 The Prodigy, the return to the story series for the first time in 2 months and our first episode on F1 22. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a very exciting start to this 2025 season. We've got a number of transfers coming in. Only 8 drivers remain consistent with where they were last season. In terms of this season, 12 changes have been made over the course of the winter. Charles Leclerc, the big move, going from AlphaTauri over to Red Bull. Liam Lawson was taking his place, making his debut AlphaTauri, and Sergio Perez was shafted aside. He now moves over to McLaren alongside Oscar Piastri, who debuts this afternoon as well. Lando Norris and George Russell both moved to Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas and Felipe Drugovich are now in the seats at Williams. Ricciardo's gone from Alfa Romeo to Aston Martin. Alexander Albon returns to F1 for the first time since 2020 with Alpine, and Robert Schwartzman debuts for Haas, and Théo Pourchaire will debut for Alfa Romeo. So it should be a very exciting start for all these drivers and their new teams. On the grid then, getting ready for the start of the Grand Prix itself. Of course, the first time the Australian Grand Prix has opened the season since all the way back in 2019. So it should be a very exciting start to the year. Zhou Guanyu starts in 10th place. He made Q3. It's the start of his 4th full season with Alfa Romeo with a new teammate alongside Théo Pourchaire. There's Malachi Wilson on the grid there, getting ready for the start of his title defence after winning the title last season. And there, last on the grid is Oscar Piastri, or last 3 drivers we're looking at. He's starting 9th and making his F1 debut for McLaren here today. Let's have a look down at the starting grid before the beginning of the Australian Grand Prix of 2025. Starting on pole position, it's Max Verstappen, who will be looking to win his 3rd World Championship this year, get the title back off Wilson. And it's Carlos Sainz, our teammate, who starts in 2nd place for Ferrari. Mercedes have locked out the 2nd row, and it's Norris in 3rd place and Russell 4th. Malachi Wilson, the reigning champion, 5th, and Albon on his return to F1 in 6th. Ocon starts 7th alongside Charles Leclerc with a poor qualifying. Piastri 9th, and Zhou Guanyu in 10th. Piastri is making his debut today. Bottas and Liam Lawson on row number 6, Robert Schwartzman alongside Mick Schumacher, the 2 Haas teammates, on row 7. Row 8 is Théo Pourchaire and Pierre Gasly for AlphaTauri. Pourchaire making his debut. Perez got a grid penalty, so he starts 17th, and Ricciardo in 18th for Aston Martin. And it's Lance Stroll 19th and Felipe Drugovich, the last debutant and the last driver on the grid to start off this Grand Prix. So here we go then, about to get underway for the formation lap for the first Grand Prix of the season. I'm very excited to be getting back to this series. I'm trying it in a different style this time as opposed to the first couple of seasons. I'm going to try and present it more as a career mode episode as opposed to a game as I have the first 3 seasons. So I'm hoping you guys do like this new change. Before we get into the race, of course, I have to ask, make sure to like, share and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if this series can help that out, then I really appreciate it. We're coming now to the start line, getting ready for the start of the Grand Prix. There's your predicted pit stop strategy. I'm going to leave it for the time being as to what strategy I'm going to play with Wilson over the course of this Grand Prix. It could be a 1-stop, could be a 2-stop. We'll have to wait and see over the course of the race, but hopefully it'll be enough to deliver us the victory. The last 2 cars making their way through the last corner on the circuit now and lining up at the back of the grid, getting ready for the start of what should be a very exciting season opener. I'm so excited to get this one underway. The first episode of Season 4 of The Prodigy. I want to jump right in now for the start of the race. It's Verstappen and Sainz in the front row as we go to 5 red lights to get The Prodigy Season 4 underway. The 2025 season is go, and it's a decent getaway from Verstappen, a poor getaway from Sainz by comparison. Norris could have a chance to turn 1. Verstappen's pulled away at a rate of knots. He's shot out like a bullet, and he's already out into the lead at the first corner. Norris alongside Sainz to turn 1. Wilson's really fallen back here. He's had a poor start. He's already down to 7th place. He's lost 2 places. Alexander Albon and Esteban Ocon are both making a challenge on our Ferrari drivers who make their way down towards turn number 3 on the new modified Albert Park circuit and duck to the inside of Albon and get this pop back into P6 and try and challenge. We can try and challenge George Russell if we can around the outside there of turn 4. We've got the job done immediately, so we're back into P5 here. Start's been managed well. Verstappen has already pulled out to a 2-second advantage over Norris in 2nd place. Charles Leclerc's made a rocket start as well. He's also into P3. Those Red Bulls have been very strong over the course of the weekend. Sainz in 4th and Wilson in 5th. So not the best of starts though. We dropped back, managed to get those places back, so into P5 for the time being. We'll start chasing down Carlos Sainz here to come towards the end of the second sector. Verstappen's lead staying constant, still about 2 seconds at this stage. Ocon and Albon in P7 and P8. Going to try and make a move now. Going to go for fourth on Carlos Sainz. First battle with our teammate. He's had a poor opening lap so far. Going to try and make it worse from here. Going to try and go around the inside, then the outside. But Sainz locks up there, going into the right-hander. The newly modified turn. And now Malachi gets the jump on him and moves on to P4. And Russell takes advantage too. He's up into 5th place now. So Sainz' first lap goes from bad to worse. He's lost 4 places on the space of this first lap. Verstappen, though, has already built his lead to almost 3 seconds here as he comes to the line to complete the first lap of this Grand Prix in the lead. Leclerc now in 2nd and Norris in 3rd place. We're going to try and get close now to Lando Norris in turn 1 to go for a move for 3rd place, get ourselves up into the podium. Used a lot of our ERS on that first lap, so we've got to be very careful with that over the course of the race. Going up towards turn number 3 now. I'm going to go to the inside. Norris is going late on the brakes here. Up the inside. Going to get used to that new curve there at turn number 3. We've managed to get the job done though. We've managed to pass Norris and that puts us up into the podium places. So a brilliant start to this Grand Prix. A poor start turned into a good one. Further back, Sainz is trying to make his comeback beginning. And he's trying to go around the outside of Russell here, going into the left-hander. Excuse me, the right-hander. And start sector 3. He's going to go around the outside. Can he get the traction off the corner? Yes, he can. And that's a brilliant move there from Sainz to get up in front of Russell, who may have a problem of some kind because he's really slow here. Moving on to lap number 4 here. I'm looking at the back here. Sergio Perez is currently challenging Pierre Gasly and Teo Pourchaire. Of course, Perez started a lot further back in the order after that grid penalty. He made Q3, but the grid penalty hasn't helped his case much. He's going to try and go around the outside of Pierre Gasly here, going into turn number 3. He's got Teo Pourchaire just in front. He's going to try and make a move. Gasly going around the outside of Pourchaire now. This is brilliant racing from our old teammate who is trying to go around the outside of the rookie, who's just 4 laps into his Formula 1 career. Gasly gets the edge and moves up into P15. It's a good move from him. Perez has to wait for the time being. On to lap number 5 here. We've managed to catch Charles Leclerc on those soft tyres. Both the Red Bulls on soft to start this one off, so they're going very aggressive, whereas the majority of the pack all started on medium tyres. We've got the DRS on Leclerc here. Let's see what Red Bull's new recruit has got when we go to the inside at turn 3. There goes Wilson, very deep late on the brakes. Leclerc had to back out a little bit, but it's job done, robust and fair. We've managed to take away P2, and the chase now begins for us to hunt down our rival from last season, Max Verstappen, who's already looking to try and get that 3rd world championship under his belt, trying to take it back from Wilson, who snatched it from him under death last season. Meanwhile, Alex Albon, remember, it's his first race back in F1 since 2020, but you wouldn't know it the way he's handled himself this weekend. And now he's going to challenge George Russell as well. He's going from bad to worse here. He started in 4th place. He's going to fall down to 7th here should Albon go around the outside, similar to how Sainz did a couple of laps ago. There goes Albon, and the outside is the place to be for that right-hander. So Albon's got the job done very nicely indeed there. And he's doing very well on his return to F1 for Alpine, who have definitely got these regulations right, while further back Perez has just passed Pourchaire for 16th place. And now here comes Wilson once again, now 1.5 seconds behind Max Verstappen as he comes to the end of lap number 8. But Verstappen's tyres have definitely fallen off the cliff, because those soft tyres, as quick as they are, don't last very long. So I think Red Bull will agree it's about time Verstappen made his first stop of the race, and that will allow our driver Malachi Wilson to take the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, the reigning world champion, now up into the top spot for the first time this season. He'll lead the pack to lap number 9. Leclerc about 4 seconds behind at this stage. We'll make that 3 as it stands. Verstappen, fairly run-of-the-mill stop. No issues for the Red Bull team. That's what they do. So it looks like Sainz and Norris have both passed Verstappen. I think Albon should get past as well. Of course, Max's former teammate. And could Esteban Ocon, the other Alpine, potentially get in front of the Dutchman as he makes his exit from the pit lane and down in towards turn 1. And Ocon just gets in front of him there. Brilliant stuff from the Alpines. And Verstappen now a little bit further back. He's got a lot of work to do here, but the drivers in front should pit. But for now, Wilson leads the Grand Prix onto lap number 12 here. Leclerc's pitted by this point, so he's just behind Verstappen there, a couple seconds back in 6th, I assume. You get a warning for corner cutting there, so that's perfectly fair from the stewards. About 10 seconds in front of Sainz here to make our way through the 3rd sector. I'm getting a message now, and it's Pierre Gasly who's out of the session, our former teammate, the first retiree of this season. He was chasing Robert Schwartzman for P13, and smoke all of a sudden coming out of the AlphaTauri machine. I think that's the surefire sign that Gasly will be pulling the car over and retiring from the race. So the regulations haven't really been kind to everyone. So Gasly, the first car out of this Grand Prix. Moving on to the start of lap number 15 now. And our tyres are hitting the drop-off stage at this point. So it's going to be time to make our first pit stop of the Grand Prix. I'm thinking Sainz is coming in. Yes, he is. Sainz and Norris both in. So that'll move Verstappen back up into 2nd place for the time being. Looks like he's going to try a 1-stop on those hard tyres. But it's at this point now I'm going to let you in on what Malachi's strategy is going to be for the afternoon. We're trying to do a 2-stop in this Grand Prix. So we started on those medium tyres, and we could have gone into a set of hards, but we decided against that. We're going to a set of soft tyres now, and in about 7 or 8 laps we'll go onto a fresh set another set of soft tyres. So the aim for this second stint is just to, if we can get out in front of Verstappen here, he's making his way through the last corner and now down the main straight. If we can get in front of him and just start building as much of a gap as we can, so we don't have to do too much as much in the last stint, then it'll definitely help us and it won't help the tyres to fall off the cliff in the last stint. Going through turn 1, Verstappen now, we've just managed to get out in front of him there by about a second or so, but Verstappen's got the momentum out of turn number 2. He hasn't got the DRS just yet. He wasn't with us in the section zone, obviously. He was still a lot further back. But the important thing is to come out in front of him, and that's definitely crucial for our race here. So Wilson, as we come further through now to at the end of lap number 21, the start of lap 22, we've managed to build a 9-second lead when the pit window opened. So we'll be coming in now for our final stop of the Grand Prix at the end of this lap. And we're still doing a very good job so far in terms of keeping managing those tyres as best we can. The last one of these things is about 9 laps. We've gone 7 with them, which is about what we expected. If we went any further, they might go off the cliff. Here we go now for our second stop. Will it be a routine stop? Oh, we've got a problem there on the back left tyre, and Ferrari have got things wrong. We've made a crucial mistake here. Verstappen retakes the lead as expected. We could lose valuable seconds here in the late stages, and we've got to make up this gap in the last 7 laps this Grand Prix. Leclerc jumps up into second place now. It's a Red Bull 1-2, and Carlos Sainz up into third. Will we come out in front of Lando Norris? I think we might just do it. Yes, we will. There he is there going through turn 1. We've managed to come out in front though, and that's especially crucial. Right, so we've got 7 laps now to make our way back up to the order and beat Verstappen to take the victory. On to lap number 24 now. We've got our teammate Carlos Sainz in front of us, who won't be moving over anytime soon. We're going to try and go to the inside if we can. He just leaves us enough space to squeeze inside into turn 3. It's very, very tight. We're going to try and give him the space we need. We're going to squeeze him a lot more though through turn 4, and there is contact. Sainz, no damage to the car, so we've got away with one there, but I doubt he'll be too happy with us for that. There might be harsh words in the paddock. And Oscar Piastri now, further into lap 24, out of the session. The virtual safety car has been deployed. We would have rather it be a real safety car, but at this point, this is going to be a huge damper to our progress in trying to catch Verstappen. Let's have a look at the replay here as to what happened to Oscar Piastri, who's running in 10th place at the moment, who's only a couple laps away from his first points in Formula 1, but he's lost it at turn 1. That's the back left tyre destroyed off the car completely, and I think that's fair. That's a surefire way of saying Oscar Piastri on his F1 debut out of the race with just 6 laps to go, and that must be heart-wrenching for him. As you come to the end, start lap number 25, the virtual safety car now coming to an end. We're about 3 seconds behind Leclerc and still 10 behind Verstappen here. These soft tyres can still go the distance, that's for sure. As the green flags come back out now, I've got to try and chase Leclerc. He's our next target in terms of catching and passing the 2 leaders up front. These soft tyres are still dangerously quick though and up to temperature. So in a couple of corners we caught up, in a lap or so caught to Leclerc. So in lap number 26 now, just 4 more laps to go and we're right on the back of Leclerc. It's time for round 2 with Red Bull's new recruit. Let's see what he's got now going into the chicane. Going to go to the inside. There's Verstappen making his way out of the chicane as we make our way through. We go around the outside of Leclerc, who has got no choice but to cede, and we're up into second place with a very nice move around the outside there from Malachi Wilson. He's got about 3 and a bit more laps to catch Verstappen, who's 5.5 seconds clear of us at the moment. So I won't say it's over yet. If we don't have any more mistakes, then we could still get him. We set the fastest lap at the end of lap number 27 onto lap 28. 2 more laps left to go in this Grand Prix as we come through now to start the last lap. That gap's now down to 1.8 seconds, so we are closing in. However, we're running out of time. Robert Schwartzman now at the session, the 3rd retiree with just about a lap and a half to go, at least for the Haas driver. I'm not sure what's happened here. It may have been an internal failure. I'm not entirely sure. Going down the straight, he was battling Liam Lawson. He had Daniel Ricciardo just behind him, so it could have been a nice little battle between the rookies we could have saw there. Lawson doing okay for his debut. You see the car starts starting to wobble there. I think that might have been where the car dropped off. So Schwartzman, unfortunately, another debutant out of the race alongside Piastri, and of course Gasly is already out as well. But unfortunately for us, we weren't able to catch Verstappen. The gap was 1.6 seconds. The virtual safety car and the slow stop definitely were the crucial factors in this victory today. As he rounds the final corner, comes through to take the first victory of 2025, with Wilson just following home there in second place, about 1.5 seconds behind, and Leclerc will come through to take away 3rd. A very frustrating end to the Grand Prix for us, but definitely the Ferrari is able to compete, and I can definitely see Wilson challenging Red Bull for the title, at least for the points lead over the next couple of races. So there you have it then, the end of the Australian Grand Prix and the end of our return to the Prodigy for Season 4. Verstappen then is the winner, and it'll be Wilson in 2nd and Leclerc in 3rd. Overall, very successful start for both Red Bull and Ferrari, although notice the performance gap was particularly vast between the top 2 teams back to the Mercedes and Alpine cars, and the rest of the pack just following up suit behind. So potentially we'll have to see that pack potentially try and close in over the next couple of races, bringing upgrades. But it looks definitely like Red Bull and Ferrari have made huge gains compared to the rest of the pack, and they're on top like they were at the end of last season. Verstappen though on top here today, and like I say, Wilson in 2nd and Charles Leclerc Perhaps not the debut he might have wanted. He probably would have wanted to win the race considering how fast he was on Friday, but qualifying really put a hamper to that. Of course, from 8th to 3rd isn't too bad a drive at all, but regardless, I'm sure he would have wanted more. So the celebrations now begin for Red Bull and Ferrari, but they'll be going at each other's throats over the next couple of races. They fight for the early wins and the championship lead over the course of the coming races. So overall then, Verstappen wins the race, Wilson 2nd and Leclerc in 3rd, as Carlos Sainz came home 9 seconds behind the leader in 4th place. It's Lando Norris and George Russell 5th and 6th. Alexander Albon 7th on his return to F1, beating Esteban Ocon for P8. Sergio Perez came from 17th to 9th, so a brilliant drive for him, well deserving of driver of the day. And Zhou Guanyu takes the first point of the season for Alfa Romeo in 10th. It's Mick Schumacher 11th, Valtteri Bottas 12th, Liam Lawson 13th on his debut, Daniel Ricciardo 14th, beating Lance Stroll for 15th, Teo Porcher 16th, Dragovic in 17th, Schwartzman, Piastri and Gasly all failing to finish. So for now then, Verstappen leads the Drivers' Championship. Wilson took the 1 point fastest lap, so he's got 19 points there in 2nd place, and Leclerc there in 3rd with 15th. The points order in the championship the same as the race results for now, but that'll change over the next couple of races as Verstappen will seek to try and defend the lead from us in 2nd and potentially even Leclerc in 3rd should he choose to spoil the order. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull take the early lead with 40 points to Ferrari's 31 thanks to the double podium. Mercedes in 3rd place, Alpine 4th, McLaren in 5th and Alfa Romeo in 6th. 6 teams who all managed to score in this Grand Prix. So that then, you guys, is the end of the first episode of F1 The Prodigy Season 4. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, share and subscribe to help get us to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And until my next video, you guys, once again, thank you so much for watching and goodbye.